Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the men's class 89 Group A session at the 2023 at Asian Weightlifting Championship in Jinju, Republic of Korea. Please welcome the athletes.
지금부터 2023 진주 아시아 역도 선수권 대회 및 2024 파리 올림픽 쿼터 경기를 시작하겠습니다.
Representing Korea, Yoo-dong-ju.
Okay, hello, welcome back. This is the men's 89 kilo category, highly anticipated, the Olympic category. Just to the far right of our screen, cut out unfortunately, we have Lee Dae-in, world record holder and world champion from the 81 kilo category. Moving left quickly, Yoo-dong-ju from Korea, who at his last competition won the world champs in 2021. Shatlek Shoradov from Turkmenistan, Sergei Petrovich, Mustafa Javadi, Tian Tao, the 2019 world champion, the world record holder in the 96 kilo category in the clean and jerk. Then there's Kina Rostami, the 2016 Olympic champion, world record holder in the clean and jerk in the 85s. To his left, Emil Moldodosov from Kyrgyzstan, Ashuljan Bekte from Kazakhstan, and we have Tharafan from Thailand, and finally Amr Al-Kanjari from Oman. So those are the athletes in this session. Quite a stacked session here, 10 athletes, not as small as some of the ones that we've seen recently, and of course full of extreme talent. We have 3 world record holders all meeting in the middle. None of them have set world records in this category, but they've all set world records in the surrounding categories. Lee Dae-in in the 81s, Kina Rostami in the 85s, and Tian Tao in the 96s. And of course, unofficially, Tian Tao did set world records as an 85 several years ago before moving up to that 96 kilo category. So just over 9 minutes now until we get underway. We will take a look at the top 10 rankings in the world just to get a rough idea of what some of these athletes are looking for their Olympic qualifying total. Opening attempts right now written in as 171 for Lee Dae-in, which is astronomical, but I guess technically he is the best snatcher in the field. Tian Tao's asked for 165 kilos, Kianush for 160. Very unlike Kina Rostami to put in a number that is not just not the heaviest, but equal to so many other people. Maybe Rostami has turned a leaf, who knows. So you can see here plenty of athletes with 160 kilos written in as their opening attempt. We have Shoradov, Petrovich, Tian Tao's there at 65, Rostami, Moldodosov. I think some of those athletes may well drop down ever so slightly. But I think our opening attempt will be from Tharafan from Thailand, 145 kilos for him. Now, of course, we are live on YouTube as well, so do leave any questions or thoughts or comments in the chat, and I will do my best to get to those questions. You can see we already have a fair number of people here, and the session hasn't even begun yet, so do send in any questions. For those wondering, Liu Huanhua, who took the bronze medal at the World Championships, the silver in the clean and jerk was 215, is competing in the 96 kilo category. The reason being, there are 3 Chinese 89s, Lee Dae-in, Tian Tao, Liu Huanhua, and only 2 of them can compete at any given time in a category. And because Huanhua has already got a total in the 89s, whereas the others do not, he already technically has a ranking. So the world records in this category, 179 in the snatch. That's actually a world standard. So nobody has yet officially set a world record there. Once they changed the weight classes, they put in new standards that had to be surpassed for anyone to be able to claim a world record. So 180 kilos would do it, which might be a bit of a tall order. Li Dayin snatched 175 kilos before. Tian Tao has snatched 181 a couple of times, but I'm not sure he's going to be doing that now at this sort of body weight, though I believe he snatched around the 178 mark as an 85 in a great battle with Kinush Rostami in 2016. Kinush most recently snatched 174 kilos at the World Championships, but he snatched 178 at the Qatar Cup in 2019, 179 as an 85 at the Olympic Games, which is just unbelievable. He was in, the best shape of his life there. 225 kilos is his best clean and jerk, again as a heavier 96 kilo lifter. Then Emil Moldodosov, who took the silver medal last year at the World Championships, unlikely to fall within the medals, but he is moving from strength to strength. 166 he made at the Asian Champs, 164 at the World Championships, but still yet to crack that 200 kilo barrier. And then you never really know what's going to happen with Ashuljan Bekte. The Kazakh team have just been going from strength to strength recently, so it will be interesting to see what happens there. Tharafan also, who we mentioned from Thailand, who's going to be opening things up in the snatch. A little bit down in the snatch, but he has clean and jerked up into the high 190s before. 196 is his best. And then, of course, Kanjari from Oman, 156, 200. He made that 200 at the World Champs, so that's his best ever clean and jerk. Finally entered the 200 kilo club. Probably one of the most criminally underrated weightlifters in the sport right now is Mustafa Jabadi from Iran. He's here competing in this session at the World Championships in 2021. He came second. He beat Marin Robu, took the silver medal behind Carlos Nassar with a 204 kilo clean and jerk as an 81 kilo lifter. So when he hit that 204, the world record at the time was 207. So he was only 3 kilos down. Of course, it then went up to 208 a few minutes later for a new world record. But he then went over 200 kilos again at the Islamic Solidarity Games last August. And now he's moved up to the 89 kilo category. So it's very possible that we can see him get into the high 160s in the snatch and push somewhere up into the 200s in the clean and jerk too. Huge thank you to Joseph Nett for donating as well. That's pretty cool to see happening through the live stream. Much appreciated. Of course, if you want to support Weightlifting House, there's also the Weightlifting House store, weightliftinghouse.com, where we have basically every product that you might need as a weightlifter, and then all of that money goes into basically fueling our travel to these competitions and getting more content and creating more content back for the weightlifting community. So if you want to support the sport, then weightliftinghouse.com is a decent way to do it too. So I'd be very interested to know generally people's thoughts on how this might go. We haven't really seen Tian Tao in shape since, let's think, he didn't go to the Olympics in 2021, or the Asian Champs before that. He wasn't in the best shape. He wasn't clean and jerking over 210 or anything, and that was as a 96. 2019 he was in great shape. It's been a few years since we've seen a really strong Tian Tao, so I'd love to know who people think is going to take this one. Is he going to be back in shape now that he's in his more favoured weight weight range? Or is Lee Dae-in's extra body weight going to have helped out? Can he clean and jerk with these stronger athletes? He's obviously got the pull. Kenish Rostami, a veteran, you know, he's been there and he's done it at every single level. You know, he's the only Olympic champion there, let's not forget. So let me know who you think is going to win. Just put it in the chat. I'd be interested to see what people generally think of this category right now. I think the last time we saw Tian Tao in great shape was the 2019 World Championships. He did 180-230 for a 410 kilo total. That was, if I remember correctly, the second heaviest total anyone ever made in that category. In the 96s, that was behind Surab Maradi, who made 416 kilos. So it's been over 3.5 years since we saw. Actually, I suppose at the World Cup in 2019, which was only 2 months after that World Championships, he did snatch 175 and clean jerk 225, which is pretty massive for a 96, a 400 kilo total. Whereas Lee Dae-in has never totaled over 377 kilos, even though it's an enormous total to hit as an 81. When we look at the world record total of 395 kilos, that's 18 kilos behind. So he's going to have needed this body weight to have put on a huge amount onto his, particularly clean and jerk. 206 is his best. Of course, he did that at the World Championships in a great back and forth battle with Liu Xiaojun. Interestingly, no one is saying that they think that Kenish Rostami is going to win. So there's a comment about Lee Dae-in taking 3 kilo jumps to a 177 kilo world record. That wouldn't be a world record, unfortunately. The world record would need to be 180 kilos, and that's a very wobbly opening attempt there. Not too bad in the pull, but very wobbly in the catch there. Just too much backward momentum. So a quick look at the World Olympic rankings here. The 10th highest total, which is important for some of these athletes. Of course, if they want to go to the Olympics, they have to rank in the top 10 in the world. The 10th highest total is 362 kilos. That's by Orfidez Vera from Cuba. Marin Stanky Legrubu is in at number 9. Although I've just realised Redzepay Redzepov is in at number 8. He's the guy who took the silver medal at the World Championships in the 81 kilo category, but I'm pretty sure he's been popped, and so his performance is going to be removed and everyone will bump back up. So that actually means that Nico Müller is now the number 10 athlete. And then, of course, right near the top 3, Brian Rodalegas with 381 kilos, Kedemar Vayanir, the world champion, is 385 kilos, and then 10 kilos ahead of them all, Carlos Menesar from Bulgaria, 395 kilos. So Tian Tao and Lee Dae-in, of course, have to do a lot to not just try and win this, but show that they could beat Carlos if they were selected for the Olympics. Second attempt now.
Good lift.
판정 결과 성공.
Okay, so at least we're on the scoreboard there. I think he's either going to... Or have they taken it away from him? Yeah, they took it away from him, unfortunately. So he's going to have to follow himself again. That second attempt there that we see in the blue, 145, is, I think, being taken away. And so he's going to be forced to retake that lift. Or go up, I suppose. At this point, I think he's probably better off just coming out and taking this. So at his last competition, Tharafan snatched 140 kilos, and that is his best international clean and jerk. So, sorry, best international snatch. So to be opening up 5 kilos heavier than that, you know, less than 5 months after he only made the 140 is probably a bit of a bold move. But it's very possible that he bumped up his entry total significantly to make it into this A session. And then because of the 20 kilo rule, is forced to make some pretty heavy openers.
No lift.
판정 결과 실패.
So unfortunately there, Tharafan bombing out of this competition. Yep, for those wondering, I'm not in Jinju. But for those of you also saying that I'm probably in bed at this point because it's so early, I'm also not. I am at the Weightlifting House HQ. It wasn't the easiest journey in today, though. My car broke down on the side of the road about half an hour ago, and so I've just ditched it because getting here for this 89 kilo category is too important. So I'm currently carless right now, but hopefully after this session I can get that sorted. But I couldn't go missing the 89s right now. I wasn't going to, you know, get the rights to be able to put this up for everybody to see and then not go and see it myself. Okay, Al-Khanjari, 150 kilos from Oman. Yeah, that's a nice opening attempt there. 150, I mean, that equals the weight that he made at the World Championships. And then at the competition earlier in the year, he made 156 kilos. So that opening attempt looking how it ought to. So Carlos, yeah, I have heard about his injury. For those who don't know, Carlos Nassar, world record holder in the total in this category, damaged his Achilles. I think basically cut it, and so is I think has already undergone surgery and will probably be out of. Certainly, I don't think we're going to be seeing him competing again in 2023. He doesn't technically need to. He's already in a great ranking position, but even so, hopefully he then has time to return to full health for the Olympics. And also, Tien Tao is opening at 165 kilos. There was an error on the scoreboard that said 150. He continues to give us heart attacks even from the back room. Here's 154 for Javadi. Let's see how that weight gain has affected him. Yeah, pretty confident lift. I mean, I would say he looked almost a little bit, almost like delayed and slow in getting under it. Like he hung around at the top there in the pull, but he's pretty fast. Of course, his teammate, although I don't really think they're much of a teammate because Kinush tends to train on his own, but Kinush Rustami's also put in 165 kilos for his opening attempt, and then Lee Dae-in with a massive 171. Lee Dae-in's also put in 210. That strikes me as relatively ambitious for a man who's only clean and jerk 206 in competition, but maybe the weight gain has affected him in all of the right places. Tian Tao's put in 210. That's exciting. That's actually a very big opener. Okay, Yu Dong-ju now from Korea. You know, let's not forget, this guy is a world champion. At his last competition, the last time he competed, he won. He's actually been a very successful athlete in his career. 167, 207 he made in 2021. Brilliant stuff, and nice to see an athlete from South Korea actually, you know, getting on the scoreboard there. A lot of South Korean lifters have struggled here. Also, a huge shout out to Yuan Feng from, well, he's donated some money for Seb's car repair fund, so I appreciate that. Hopefully the car isn't going to cost me a fortune to fix, although it's not, it wasn't the sort of breakdown that a simple jump start is going to be able to fix, so I think unfortunately I'm going to be out of action with the car for a fair few days getting it towed and fixed up. Okay, here's Bekte now with 155. Very fast athlete. Good lockout, strong lift. So things are starting to move now. Other than those 3 misses we saw at the start, this has been a pretty successful competition so far. We've had 4 made openers in a row. But now a 5 kilo jump. This is a kilo below Al-Khanjari's opener. Very nice. And the run of made lifts continues. So for those wondering, the highest ranked Chinese lifter in the 89s right now, of course, is Liu Huanhua. So he totaled 381 kilos. So for those of you who may well have watched the preview YouTube video that we put out yesterday about this category, but there are several sort of concentric circles of battles here expanding out for these Chinese lifters. Lee Dae-in and Tian Tao are competing against each other here. They're competing, of course, against everyone in the Asian Championships, but they're also competing against that total from Liu Huanhua of 381 to make sure that they're the #1 ranked Chinese lifter in the category so that they actually appear in the Olympic rankings. And then they're competing against Carlos Nassar's total from Yerevan, because if they're not the #1 ranked athlete during this qualifying period, it's maybe unlikely that Team China will send them. So there's a lot going on in this session right now. Jump here to 159 kilos. 5 kilo jump, we're almost at that 160 mark. This is Aliyabadi Javadi. We know that his strength lies in the clean and jerk. I think he pulled that a little bit quicker off the floor. Still has that slightly, almost like he stays up at the top of the lift for quite a while before he comes under, but that lift, if anything, looks a little bit stronger in my opinion. His best snatch is 163 kilos. He's made that twice, but not for a little while now. The World Championships, he only made 155, so he's already looking quite good here. Oh, big shout out to Hun Hao as well for donating and for appreciating the work that we're doing for weightlifting. Yeah, it's been how long has it been that we've been doing this? 6 years, I think. Just over 6 years since Weightlifting House began. It was in 2017, April of 2017. So thank you very much. We're doing the best that we can. Okay, Emil Moldodosov. Such a great technician. And Kyrgyzstan just becoming a stronger and stronger nation in weightlifting. We saw his teammate Razulbekov lifting very well over the last year as well. In fact, Emil Moldodosov's father is in the Asian Federation and used to be a weightlifter himself, and a pretty good weightlifter. He's showing me pictures and videos of his competitions, international competitions back from the 90s. Here's Bekte. I think that's a good lift. There's a little bit of movement, but I don't think that's anything that they need to be looking at there. 160 kilos, very nice. He's back on the board. Good to see our favorite YouTube personality, Zach Tallender, has joined the chat. Okay, so we only have, well, we still have, I should say, really, 5 athletes who have not opened up yet. The first of them now, Shatlek Sharadov from Turkmenistan, who we've seen a fair amount over the last year or two. He competed at the World Championships, only snatched 155 kilos there, bombed out in the clean and jerk. But at the Asian Championships, 160, 190. But either way, this is a very, very heavy opener for him, very aggressive. 161 is his best. That was 2021 at the World Champs as an 81 kilo lifter. So he's either feeling himself or he's just playing the game of getting to the Olympics and trying to get a top 10 total. I guess we'll find out. You know, it was a miss, but it didn't look like the heaviest attempt we've seen. Maybe heavier than it ought to be for an opening lift, but... So you can see there, Lee Dayan still with 171 kilos written in. Sergei Petrovich from Kazakhstan with the same opening attempt as Tian Tao and Kinuj Rustami at 165 kilos. This 89 kilo category is just getting wild because, you know, in almost every continent now we have an unbelievable battle. We've got Kedemar Vayaneer and Rodalegas and Damron over in the Pan American region. Of course, Nina versus Carlos, which you know, they seem to both just keep missing each other, and they're going to continue to miss each other with Carlos's injury now. But over in Europe and then in Asia, we've got some great athletes as well. But now here's Yu Dongju. Massive 6 kilo jump from 155. And that is a stunning lift there from him. His best, of course, 167 kilos. That was 1.5 years ago, back in Uzbekistan at that World Championships. A pretty interesting World Championships in 2021. We had some big lifts. We had the heaviest total of all time. We had a few world records. But because it was an Olympic year, a lot of people didn't turn up. And because it was during the pandemic, teams couldn't make it also. There was confusion with a few different things. So Italy wasn't there, China wasn't there, but still a very fun championships. Okay, Shatlek Shorodov, second attempt, he missed 161 on his first lift. Oh, and that was just about as close as you're going to get in the snatch, unfortunately. The bar path was looking pretty close to perfect for him there, but still not enough for him to get up with that. And again, worth mentioning just that total that people are looking for. It's right around, if you can total over 361 kilos here today, there's a very good chance you're going to end up in the top 10 in the world. But, of course, we have so many more qualifying competitions for Paris 2024 that a lot of athletes are going to be bumping up totals, and so that 361 probably won't hold out. Okay, this now a massive attempt. This will be a 5 kilo personal best. Oh, and it's an incredible fight. I don't think he's going to get given it. That definitely was a little bit too much of the press there. We did a little SOTS press in the hole, but still, I guess you can count it as a training make for him, but that's not going to get on the board, unfortunately. And so Al-Khanjari will end up with 155. Which is just a kilo shy of his best, so not too bad for him. Javadi with 163. We then have probably Bekte with 164, before suddenly 4 or 5 athletes asking for 165 kilos. Of course, we also need to see if Shorodov can make a lift, or if he's going to join the likes of Tharapan in bombing out of this session. Here comes the 2021 silver medalist from the 81 kilo category. Final attempt now, Mustafa Javadi, 163 kilos. It's a weight he's made before. He's made it at a lighter body weight as well. Takes his time. Oh, just too much for him today. So Shorodov now, this is important for him. He's going to need to make this if he wants to end up with a total. 163 kilos. This is a pretty classic Turkmenistan move here. Miss, miss, bump up. And miss, I suppose, would be the way that normally ends. But who knows? I have faith in Shatlik Shoradov. Perhaps too much faith. Oh, and again, I mean, in his defense, every time he adds weight on the bar, it looks a little bit closer. So maybe if he'd have just had the confidence to sneak the blues on and go for a 165, he may have made that. But unfortunately, Shatlik Shoradov is out of the running in the total here. He may well still continue on in the clean and jerks, of course, but he may well not. We've seen plenty of athletes this competition miss their snatches and then just withdraw totally. Ashiljan Bekte has 164 kilos written in, then it's time to get the blues on the bar. His first two lifts looked okay. Maybe a tiny bit of wobble in his elbows on his second attempt, but his lockout is so strong, any wobble is just highlighted. Yeah, just too much from that time. I mean, the Kazakhs are looking kind of crazy in training at the moment. You know, we saw Nagisa Adilatuli, who, let's be honest, he shouldn't be any heavier than 89, and he's gone up to 102. He just block snatched 200 kilos, snatched 190 kilos on the floor. So he's going to be going up against the likes of Lesman Paredes of Bahrain in a couple of days' time in that 102 kilo category. Of course, Sarab Muradi's even competing, but I believe he's in a B session, unfortunately. And then, of course, Artyom Antropov, who knows what he's snatching, but Artyom has bumped up to the 109s and is clearly in good clean and jerk shape. So this is a very interesting opener here. Sergei Petrovich, 165 kilos, absolutely massive for this category. He's only competed once. This is his second time. Incredibly fast. But doesn't get that bar to land. So when we saw him last, the only time we'd seen him, it was at the Islamic Solidarity Games in 2022. And he snatched 156 kilos there. So, you know, 9 months of training, 9 kilos up on the snatch, makes sense. Kilo a month. Okay, here we have it. This is highly anticipated Tian Tao, 2019 world champion. Only one time a world champion. He had so many difficult battles with athletes like Kinish Rustami and Sarab Muradi. Once a world record holder in the clean and jerk. I suppose technically still has that world record. This is 165 kilos. Wow, that looked as easy as I think we had all hoped it might look there. I think 5 kilo jumps are definitely on the cards there. We might see the reds on the bar for Tian Tao. Yeah, he made 160 kilos in the training hall a few days ago, looked very strong. 200 in the clean and jerk looked easy. So, you know, 175, 215, 390 total would be a great place to start. It would be the third highest total we'd seen in this category, but it would rank him at number 2 in the world because the 392 from Antonino Pizzolato came prior to Olympic qualifying. So from one world record holder to another ex-world record holder, Kinish Rustami, 165 kilos. We also saw him snatching 170 kilos, not in the training hall, but certainly not in Jinju, but at a training hall in Iran somewhere. Let's not forget he made 179 kilos in the snatch as an 85 kilo lifter. But that was a different time, a different Rustami. He makes absolute meal out of that one. Swaying from side to side. He actually is hobbling off here, which
Good lift.
you have to hope he hasn't just done himself an injury. But that was not made easy. I mean, it was going backwards, then forwards, then left, and then right. But he's got his experience. He knows how to just sit there in the hole, wait it out, wait until that bar comes back over where it needs to be before he comes up with it. Okay, the chat at this point is just moving too fast for me to engage with, so I'm gonna leave it for a little bit and just enjoy the snatches. Okay, second attempt now for Sergei Petrovich. That 165 miss on his first attempt didn't look like it was going to be impossible to make. And that's great. You know, very similar. If anything, it looked like it was maybe moving backwards, but a lot of strength overhead to just pull that bar forwards where it needs to be over midfoot, and then he's up with it. So if we can assume that he has improved in the clean and jerk as much as he has in a snatch, we might see him push over that 200 kilo range. He's put in 195 for his opener. Yu Dongju still in this as well. I think we'll see him in a couple of attempts' time, but 166 from Emil Moldodosov from Kyrgyzstan. He should be the next athlete out, and I believe this might equal his best. Yeah, 166 he made at the Asian Championships, where he took the silver medal. Of course, it was Bekte from Kazakhstan who actually won the Asian Championships last year, but he's not going to be winning this year. Here comes Moldodosov. Great lift. And as we've said, I mean, Kyrgyzstan are just moving from strength to strength internationally at the moment. They've not got the largest team, but their top two male lifters are just getting better and better, more and more frequently in the A sessions, then all of a sudden starting to mop up a few medals as well. Okay, Yu Dongju now. He looked very strong on his first and second attempt. Despite the 6 kilo jump, just a 5 kilo jump for his third attempt now, 166 kilos. And when he won the World Championships in 2021, he did it with a 167, so he's just a kilo shy of that now. But times have changed, of course. It's no longer a non-Olympic category, so the competition has climbed a lot. But that's just too much from there. Okay, realistically, Emil's going to probably not settle now for anything under 170. If he's ever going to be in a position to achieve that milestone, it might be now. Oh, 169, okay. Perhaps not, perhaps he's going to save that for another time. And then we get to the 70 range. Tian and Kianish Rostami have put in massive 7 kilo jumps. You have to imagine there's a bit of a battle there. The odds of them both having picked that seem slim to have done independently. My assumption would be that Tian Tao put it in, quite rightly, and Kianish, despite his very wobbly opener, just looked over and saw the 172 and said, well, we've got to do that as well. And then Li Daiyin with 171. I guess there's a possibility that they just want to make sure that they get in a lift ahead of Daiyin's 171. So out comes Emil. The heaviest snatch that we've seen in this category is 178 kilos. That was Andranik Karapetian at the European Championships, but we'd need 180 to see a world record. Oh, and Moldodosov fights And there's too much movement in his right elbow as he was standing, and then finally it totally just broke there near the top. His lockout broke, but he looks okay. You know, that was millimeters off a perfect lift. So unfortunately, Moldodosov will walk away with 166. He's not the strongest clean and jerker, so he's very, very unlikely he'll walk away with any medals today. 170 for Sergei Petrovich now. The bar is getting loaded. This is definitely the barrier between those athletes who are looking to medal at a World Championships or Olympic Games and those who are just looking to take part. Right, this would be a 14 kilo international best for him. Yeah, that's too much. The classic look to the left hand as though it was his hand that prevented him from going under. We've all done it. We all can sympathise. So 395 is the world record total. The top 10 currently sit at 362 or more. Realistically, if you want to put up a total that feels safe for Olympic qualifying, you definitely want to get over the 370 range. Right now, 370 kilos is the spot for number 7. That's actually Nathan Damron from the USA. Okay, here he comes. Lee Dae-in, world record holder in the snatch in the lighter 81 kilo category, finally has moved out of the shadow of Liu Xiaojun and become a world champion. And of course, now that he's moved up to the 89, he doesn't want to fall back into the shadows behind Tian Tao, so he's going to have to put on a big show here in the snatch. He just pulls that so fast. Oh my word. Lee Dae-in is definitely in the shape that we'd all hoped he'd be in. I mean, he moves differently when you compare the speed of him pulling that bar off the floor compared to anyone else, even compared to, you know, Kianush or Tian. It's a whole nother thing. I mean, in the training hall over this last week, we've seen Lee Dae-in snatch deadlift, or snatch pull really, 250 kilos, significantly faster than Tian Tao was able to clean deadlift 260 kilos. So in the pull, Lee Dae-in is on another level. Of course, he's got the leverages for it, but in the squat, it reverses back again to Tian Tao, who's got the leverage. Here he comes now, a massive 7 kilo jump for Tian Tao. His best snatch, 181. He's made that twice. That was as a 96 kilo lifter. He snatched 178 kilos in the 85, so that was now 7 years ago. Not so convincing there, unfortunately. I don't know whether it was the height of the bar. I don't know whether it was that right elbow that just didn't lock out, but that doesn't bode well for him moving ahead of Lee Dae-in, because Lee Dae-in looks like he has a lot more in him, and he's asked for 176 kilos, which I guess would be a personal best for him. He would set himself up nicely as well for a world record. Kianush now, will he suffer the same fate as Tian Tao? Kianush made 174 kilos at the World Championships. It was a kilo behind the winning snatch from Kedemar Vayanir, 175. This is right around the top end of what he's capable of. He made 170 in training recently, though. And he pulled it, you know, kind of fast off the floor. He definitely doesn't look happy. He's got some kind of issue in his lower body. I'm sure I've said this before, but I'll never forget turning up to the World Championships in 2022 and seeing him in the corner of the room. Hadn't seen him in a couple of years. He was training the snatch. I just kept a little eye on him while I was editing. I knew it wasn't going heavy. Then he started clean and jerking. And I went over, and he came over and said, "Hey, how are you doing?" I said, "Good." And he said, "Why didn't you film my snatches?" And I said, "You weren't going heavy." And he looked me dead in the eyes, and he said, "I just snatched 180. And I said, "Keanish, you did not just snatch 180. There's no chance that happened." And he said, "It did happen." And that was the last time we spoke. Here's Tian Tao, 172 kilos, third attempt. This to move into the lead. He's really going to need this. And that is unfortunately going to be
판정 결과 실패.
a no lift, and that's going to mean that there's almost zero chance, well there is, there is no chance now that Tian Tao in this competition at least is going to move himself to the top of the rankings of the 89 kilo category. He would need he would need 231 kilos in the clean and jerk to move ahead of Carlos Nassar, which, you know, maybe he set it up because he has made 231 before. That is his personal best, so maybe he's trolling us all, but I think it's unlikely. Lee Dayin may walk away with this one if he can get another lift or two. Here's Keanush. Oh my word, almost contorted into a shape I haven't seen from a weightlifter before. To make that, there was like a load of depression on one shoulder, even like a little twist in the obliques on one side, lowered his right hand side massively down to try and save that. It was a valiant attempt, but that means that the battle of the snatches isn't going to be quite what we had thought or maybe hoped it would be. Both Tian Tao and Keanush Rostami with comfortable openers 165 kilos, but that's all they're going to make today. Lee Dayin, on the other hand, opened at 171 kilos. In fact, Keanush Rostami doesn't even have a medal in the snatch because there was a 176. Tian Tao's got the bronze because he made 165 first. I think. We'll have to take a closer look at that scoreboard just to confirm it, but this now 176 from Lee Dayin is a personal best on the competition platform. He made 175 kilos at the Asian Championships in 2021. Now looking to beat it in the heavier category with one attempt remaining. Wow. Lee Dayin is not messing about. He is looking to be in great shape. That gain of body weight has certainly done some wonders for him. So surely he's going to go for 180 kilos for a world record. Surely that's going to happen. 178 was made by Andranik Karapetian at the European Championships. 179 kilos is the world standard. That has to be surpassed for an official world record. There aren't many world standards left in weightlifting because most of them have all been surpassed and turned into world records. But there are a few that still survive. Of course, on the men's side, it's the world standard in the snatch in the men's 55s, the snatch in the men's 89s, and then all of the 102 records have yet to be set. I think we might see the snatch, maybe the clean and jerk and total go here at the Asian Champs in the 102s, but this record has just hung out for a little bit too long, and he's going for it. 180 is the weight on the board that's being asked for. So a kilo over the world standard for Lee Dai-in. This would make him the second male weightlifter in the world to hold world records in more than one category. And interestingly, the records for both those athletes are in the 81s and the 89s. It's Lee Dai-in and Carlos Nassar hold those records, which might be the script for the perfect battle at the Olympic Games. Because right now, Lee Dai-in has an 11 kilo lead over Tian Tao. 11 kilo lead over Kianush Rostami. We have 3 athletes with 165 kilos made, one with 166. That's Moldodosov. He's very clever to have snuck in that 166. And then Dai-in is just running away with this whole thing. This is a massive lift. Back in that 96 kilo heyday a few years ago, there was 1 or 2 or 3 athletes ever capable of making this. So to now be down a category, 7 kilos down in body weight, and be making it is remarkable. We don't know how much Lee Dai-in weighs. He may not even be a full 89 yet. And that is about the easiest snatch world record you are ever going to see. Lee Dai-in is a world record holder again in 2 categories. 175 in the 81 kilo category, 180 in the 89 kilo category. Absolutely unbelievable. The second world record, I guess technically the third because we saw it in the total, but the second individual lift world record that we've seen at this Asian Championships. Both of them have come from Team China. And you know, it's actually not impossible that Lee Dai-in could move ahead of Carlos Nassar in the total now. If he's in this kind of shape, 395 is the #1 total that we've seen in this category from Carlos in Yerevan 2 or 3 weeks ago. So Lee Dai-in, with that 180, that's 6 kilos up on what Carlos hit, he would need 216 kilos in the clean and jerk, which is, it would be a massive 10 kilo personal best for him. It may well be far too much, but he's put himself in the perfect position to try and move ahead of everybody in the world in these rankings, which is just absolutely incredible. We'll take a quick look at the scoreboard so you can all see what's happened here. I mean, it's not what we thought. I'll put it like that. Petrovic made 165 kilos. Tian Tao made 165. Kianush made 165. Moldodosov finessed them all with 166. Tian Tao hit it first. So Tian will get the bronze medal. Moldodosov the silver. And the gold with a 14 kilo lead over everybody is, I mean, it's the new man on the block in the 89s. It's Lee Dai-in from China, 3 for 3, 171, 176, 180. The gold medal surely now is his, as long as he doesn't screw things up in the clean and jerk. Fingers crossed, but what a exciting session. I mean, I thought there'd be a little bit more competition at the top end, but I also wasn't convinced we were going to see a world record. So that 180 is absolutely incredible. There's going to be a 10-minute break now until we get back underway. In fact, just over 8 minutes at this point, until the clean and jerks begin. And it looks like the opening attempt will go to Bekte Ashuljan from Kazakhstan at 185 kilos. 2 athletes with 210 written in. It's the 2 Chinese, Dai-in and Tao. Rostami's got 195, Javadi 200. What an end to that snatch portion of this session. So, whilst the questions come in, and do send any in if you want answers, I'm going to mute my microphone and I'll be back in a few minutes' time. And we are back. Opening attempt now. 185 kilos. That's for Bekte. Looked very comfortable. Okay, so let's take a quick look at some of the personal bests of these athletes in the clean and jerk. Lee Dae-in, his best ever, is 206 kilos. Now he's put in 210 for his opener. He's also 5 kilos up on his best ever snatch, so let's assume 5 translates to maybe another 7 in the clean and jerk. We'll hopefully see him get him over 210, maybe into the teens if he's having a good day. Yu Dongju has made as much as 207 kilos, but look at this. This is Kinush Rustami coming out with 186 kilos. This man is definitely feeling an injury. Almost looks like he tried to power that. And he's gonna get called for a press out, which he's not gonna like. We're gonna keep the mic up here because he might turn around and oh, they gave it to him. I mean, well, I'll let you all be the judge of that one. That looked a little bit sus to me. But Kinush Rustami gets that opening attempt at 186 kilos. But he dropped down from 195. And at the World Championships, he made 206 kilos, but he was taking attempts at over 210 and looking pretty strong, looking like he might make the 212, 213-ish range. So I think he definitely got hurt on that opening snatch, which is a real shame. But Kinush Rustami is well and truly in the top 10 in the world rankings with 380 kilos from that performance in Bogota. So I'm pretty sure he's definitely safe for the Olympics, even if he doesn't hit anything big between now and then. Here's Moldodosov, 187. Snatched so well, snuck a bronze with 166. But can't make that. Really tried to use the oscillation there. Time that dip and drive looked quite nice, but then just caught it on bent elbows. And Kianush just, pulled a fast one on Moldodosov there. He held his automatic increase on 187 kilos. Moldodosov missed. He bumped it to 193, and he just stole the clock of Moldodosov. Although the clock is saying it's saying 1 minute 45. So somehow Kianush bumped up without stealing the clock of Moldodosov. Not sure how that timekeeping has just worked. Maybe the change went in before and it just hadn't shown on the scoreboard. I guess there could be some delay there, I suppose. But back to looking at some of the best lifts in these athletes. Yu Dongju, as I mentioned, 207 is his best. He's made it twice. Once in 2019 at the Asian Champs and once in 2021 at the Asian Champs. Shatlek Shorodov has made 190 as his best. That's the same for Sergei Petrovich, but considering Petrovich's improvements in the snatch, I'm going to say he's going to improve in the clean and jerk a lot too. Javadi has made 204. Tian Tao, of course, with the biggest at 231 kilos. 225 for Rustami. He's Moldodosov, another great clean. And that's going to be the jerk for him. 187 gets him on the board with one attempt remaining. 353 kilos in the total. He's not going to get a top 10 world spot, but he may well get a personal best in the total. His best clean and jerk is 195 kilos, so he's going to need to load up. Well, he's going to need to hit 196 if he wants a personal best in the total. That's maybe a bit rich, but his best total during this qualifying period for Paris 2024 is 354 kilos, so he'd only need 189 to do that. So whatever he takes on his third attempt will surpass that for him. Ashuljan Bekdei from Kazakhstan, the reigning Asian champion, has a best of 197 kilos. Tharafan from Thailand, who bombed out in the snatches. We'll see if he turns up in the clean and jerks. His best is 196. And then Al-Kanjari from Oman, most recently at the World Championships, made 200 kilos finally, the first time in his career. And here's Shorodov, 190 kilos. You know, he opened up at a personal best in the snatch, and he is opening up at a personal best in the clean and jerk. And it didn't work out so well for him in the snatch. He did bomb out, so this is a gutsy opening attempt, I guess we can call that. We'll see how this strategy pans out for him. I mean, not so well. It's very slow pull. Yeah, he's fast under. I'll give him that. He's got some speed in pulling under the bar, but you know, a barbell has to achieve a certain height before you can get under it, and he's certainly not reaching that height, unfortunately, with the 190. So we have a fair few athletes around this range, and then we'll really properly get into it with Dayin and Tian Tao and maybe Javadi. I mean, who knows? It could be the perfect sort of comeback story for Tian Tao to not win this, but to just go for a new world record in the clean and jerk. I mean, wouldn't that be amazing if China got world records in the snatch and clean and jerk here, but then the total was held by Carlos Nassar. Yeah, and a solid lift for him. So a comment about, does anybody actually believe that Carlos Nassar actually did 187 kilos, 233 in training? I actually do believe that. He told me that. Obviously people can lie, but I don't think there's any reason for him to lie. I've seen a video of him making 182 kilos in the snatch, and you know, I've seen him clean and jerk 225 kilos, and he did that weighing 86 kilos in body weight. So as a full 89 kilo lifter weighing over 89, I wouldn't be shocked for him to make 233 kilos. That sounds pretty likely. So from Tharafan's make, I think we'll head back to Ashuljan Bekdei with 191. No, he's just bumped up now. So that'll pull Shorodov and his interesting plans back out. Well, I mean, it's a much better attempt. I mean, just like happened in the snatches, he gets close to every attempt. If he bumps up, he might well make it. So not a great day for Shorodov of Turkmenistan. Six athletes still yet to come out. You know, prior to this category being an Olympic category, I think the best we saw in the clean and jerk was something like 207. I think that was by Makrichian from Armenia. I think he did that 207. Now he's bumped up to 96. Questions coming in about me training and my injury, whether I'll get back to it. I'm not sure. I mean, I lifted competitively for 6 or 7 years. And it's just been a few years now that I've not been able to really do anything proper. I still go to the gym, you know, almost every day. I was there yesterday, but I'm just not doing weightlifting at the moment. Okay, 190 kilos from Shorodov. Final attempt. I mean, if he does make this, or even if he gives it a good show, that is amazing that he can stay mentally focused enough after so many misses. That's going to be tough. I mean, he grinds out of it. Wow. I mean, you have to wonder how on earth that's possible. 5 misses and a make. Nobody would have bet money on that. That's unbelievable. So 190 kilos, Shorodov with no total, but I mean, I suppose technically 190 kilos, if that counts as total, which it doesn't, but if it did, beats a lot of 89 kilo lifters around the world in normal gyms. Okay, 191 kilos. Big opening attempt here for Al-Khanjari, but I guess since making that 200, he's probably feeling like he's broken down a bit of a barrier and he's got more confidence opening up at these sorts of weights. Incredibly fast, powerful athlete. Drives the bar very high as well. No problems there whatsoever. He's definitely going to be able to make at least a 5 kilo jump there to his second attempt. Bekte's second attempt, the reigning Asian champion. Look like we're going to see the loader there take a little crack at this. Yeah, Bekte, you know, the Kazakh team seems a little bit split at the moment. Some of them are just looking so ridiculously strong, and others not turning up in the same shape that they were in at the last Asian Championships in Bahrain back in October. Bekte definitely falls into the latter of those two groups. So 210 still holding strong right now for the openers of Li Dayin and Tian Tao. You have to assume that Li Dayin is going to play it somewhat safe and drop that opener down a little bit. You know, 15 kilos up on Tian Tao. Even if he makes 210, that's going to solidify the win. You know, Tian Tao's not going to make a 226 here. Of course, I'd love to see it, but it's just not going to happen today. Maybe it will. Who knows? He's shocked us before. He'll do it again. So, of course, he's following himself here at 191. Much better. but he can't get it overhead. So that's Bekte. Been and gone with this competition. 160, 185, way down on his best, 345 in the total. So a question coming in about Lasher, what's the status of the 500 kilo hype train with his injuries? So from what I've heard from inside the camp, he is still planning on going for 500 at some point. There was a post on Instagram from Dr. Georgie, his physio, saying we're preparing for the World Cup. And I wondered if that he did actually mean the World Cup or if he meant the World Championships and the World Cup was just a mistranslation or something. So I sent a message into the Georgian Federation to check. And he did, in fact, mean the World Championships. So they're not going to be in Cuba. They're training for the World Championships in Saudi Arabia in September. I have to say I'm flattered by all of the comments about me being the first person to hit 500 kilo in total. Maybe if we include the back squat, I could do it. No, maybe not. So, some of you clocked it. I'll mention after this session what's just happened on the scoreboard, but let's just see this lift here from Moldodosov. Big 5 kilo jump for him. It's a tough pull and an even tougher clean, but he is up with it. No, not today, but Moldodosov can walk away with a medal in the snatch in one of the most competitive sessions you're really ever going to see. You know, 3 world record holders in a category and you walk away with a medal is pretty amazing. Now, if you take a look at Kianush Rostami, he's just done arguably the most Kianush Rostami thing we've ever seen, which is to put in a 29 kilo jump from opener to second attempt. And you know what? He'll probably go for it as well. He'll certainly pull on it. I remember being in Switzerland and he was competing and he made, was it 205 he made? Then he asked for a world record, 231. And Tian Tao was in the back room literally just laughing at the prospect of Rostami going for it. And of course he just pulled on it and didn't even attempt to go under. Here's Petrovic. Very strong opener for him at 193. It's a personal best for him. So what do we think? Is Rostami going to make this 215 or should he have maybe gone for a 28 kilo jump? That might be more within his limits. You know, it has to be said, it's people like Kianush who make this sport so interesting. You see so much of an athlete's personality. Well, you don't always see a lot of an athlete's personality, and that's what makes an athlete like him so special, because you can feel his emotions. You can see there's a little battle going on within his head. There's this humble part and there's this very prideful part. The humble part opened up at 186 and the pride jumped him to 215. That might be the biggest jump. Okay, let's actually think about this. Has there ever been a bigger jump in weightlifting? It's like, seriously. 29 kilos, I can't think of that ever having happened before. Anything like that. So the world record in the clean and jerk in this category is 221 kilos. It was 217. That was Pizzolato, then it was 220 Nassar, then 221 Nassar. His 195 for Yu Dongju, ex-world champion. Very easy in the clean and just tremendous use of that oscillation of the bar. Great opening attempt there. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if Kianush cleans it, because if he's anything, it's a clean and jerker. He was the world record holder in the clean and jerk. He won with clean and jerks back in the day. So we may well see him actually get under that 215. And who knows? I mean, I'd love to see it. He may well even make it. I'm sure he's made this sort of lift in training. And there's a certain level of belief that Kianush has that he can make anything that's loaded on the bar, which certainly gives him some advantage over other athletes who would know that this was too much. Okay, so apparently this is a benefit of having a live chat. Tian Tao made a 28 kilo jump at Chinese Nationals. Is that why Kianush made a 29 kilo jump, do you think? Ah, that's too much. Miss there for Tharafan. There's definitely a chance that Kianush can make this 215. I think it's highly unlikely, but I think really the 215, let's be honest, it's a placeholder. It's not necessarily going to be the weight that he hits. It's a placeholder. He just needs to put in something that is heavier than everybody else so that he can see what Tian Tao and Li Dayan open with, and then he can go a kilo up on whatever that was and basically look to potentially sneak a gold. Because that's the thing with Kianush. Rather than saying, oh, I lost, he can say, I took the gold medal lift and I missed. And I feel like that's always the mindset that Kianush Rostami has. He'd always rather miss, or he'd rather lose, but be able to say, I took that lift, rather than miss. You know, if he misses 205, then he's just a guy who can't make 205. Or he can be the guy who took the lift for the gold and couldn't make it. So I think he's always going to try and be that person. Straight back out here. Tharafan had his clock stolen, so he only had a minute on to wait. Very slow off the floor, and again just collapses back, spat out the hole. So Tharafan 1 for 6. One of two athletes, unfortunately, to go 1 for 6. Both of them ending up with 190 as their only made lift. Opening attempt now for Mustafa Javadi. Definitely a bit of a clean and jerk specialist. One known to hit a backflip as well, if he's feeling good. So keep your eyes peeled after his third attempt. I don't think he's ever gone for a backflip on his first or second attempt. That seems a little bit premature. Oh, that looks really good. And the jerk is solid too, but the clean in particular looks significantly better than a heavy clean would normally look for him. So there's Mustafa with a great opening attempt there. 207, of course, is his best. Petrovic now coming back out. This is 198 kilos. It would put him at 363 kilos in the total, which would move him into the lead for now. But of course, two athletes still yet to open. Li Dayan and Tian Tao. Wow, and he makes contact so late, so high up on the thigh. And a pretty good looking jerk as well. You know, it almost looks like he's not going to go under because he delays that final extension so late. But that's very solid. Still yet nobody here cracking a top 10 total in the world. But this is such a competitive category, it's really not easy to get up into that range. You sort of are required to make a 170 snatch and be clean and jerking close to 210 to really push into a secure Olympic spot. So Petrovic surely going to be taking an attempt over 200 kilos. There he goes, 201 he's asked for. So Yu Dongju from Korea will be called out next. And we've got some big jumps put in. I mean, of course, we've got Kianoush's 29 kilo opener to second kilo jump. Of course, if he takes that again, he'll be going for 244 in his third attempt. And then Al Khanjari has put in a 14 kilo jump from 191 to 205. Ali Abadi Javadi has put in a 15 kilo jump to 212. I mean, what is happening here in this 89 kilo session? Yu Dongju 201 now, 6 kilos up. He's made this sort of lift before in his career several times. He's made over 200 kilos at 5 competitions, most recently at his last in 2021, but it's been a year and a half since he's competed. Nice, clean, great timing. And again, the use of the oscillation is great. Just puts on the brakes in what's actually a pretty short dip, and then lets the bar wrap around, ping back up, and he drives. Times it very well, and that's a good lift. So Yu Dongju is at 362 kilos. He's a kilo behind Petrovic. They each have 1 attempt remaining. So Javadi's put in 15 kilo jump. So he's also looking at this and just thinking, like, I can't get a medal in the total. I'm too far behind. Actually he could, because even though he's so far behind in the total, Moldodosov did not clean and jerk well. So Javadi's probably just thinking, let's just take 2 attempts at a medal in the total. Kianoush is thinking something similar. I mean, even Khanjari is making this 11 kilo jump. You don't see jumps like these very often in competition. His opener was just so powerful. Just whether his elbows can hold on this jerk, I expect. Very strong again. Oh, just as easy if... Ooh. Let's see what happens there.
Lift 202.
They've given it to him, but there's no way that would have snuck past the judges at the European Championships. Is that going to get challenged by the jury? Or is that going to go? There was a lot of movement in every aspect of him and the bar as he held that overhead. But it looks like he's going to get it. So right now we have 4 athletes with 210 or more written in. Four kilo jump for Petrovic. This is just his second international competition. And this will be a 12 kilo personal best for him. 190 is what he made last August. Huge personal best in the total this will be. We'll put him at 367 kilos in the total. And that's a great lift. And what's clever about that is it puts him at number 8 in the Olympic rankings. He knew he needed that, because he was on 364, which had him Actually, that had him at number 9, I believe. But he's just leapfrogged Marin Robu. He now sits squarely behind Nathan Damron. Looks like they're looking at this lift, though. What are they going to do? I think they're going to take it away from him. Sorry, he wasn't on 364. He's on 363 kilos. Which was in the top 10, though. But they've taken it. They've taken it away from him. Sergei Petrovich is going to end up instead with 363 kilos, not 367. Okay, who's it going to go to now? I imagine it's heading to... I was going to say Yu Dongzhu at 205, but Li Dayan plays a smart move and drops his opener down to 205 kilos. Now he's 15 kilos up over Tian Tao, so 205 would force Tian Tao to have to equal the world record of 221 kilos, which, I mean, I would never say that he can't do that. I'm sure he can clean the world record plus a good amount. It's just... I suppose if you give Tian Tao enough attempts at anything, he's likely to make it at some point. So out comes the new world record holder in the snatch, the world champion in the 81s. Li Dayan, 205 kilos. Let's not lose perspective of the magnitude of this opening attempt for him in his career. You know, it's only a kilo under his international best. It's more than he made at the World Championships in December. By far the heaviest opener of his career. And he's got so much power in that pull. And the jerk looks snappy for the first time in a while. He's looked a little bit slow, a little bit sluggish overhead in the jerk in the last year or so, and so to see it pop like that off the shoulders is very exciting. Don't forget that Li Dayan needs 216 kilos to get the world record total. 395 is the current total world record held by Carlos Nassar. Li Dayan may become the new #1 lift. It's possible. I didn't think it was going to happen here today, but it is possible. Massive jump here now also for Mustafa Javadi. 8 kilos from 197 to 205. This is also a personal best by a kilo. He made 204 as an 81 kilo athlete. His pull looked very strong in his opening attempt. The whole clean looked great. That's good as well. Very fast out of the squat. Wow. And he locks out. You know, right now, Javadi is... I mean, he's ahead of Kinish Rostami. So, as far as this Iranian battle goes, he's looking very good, but of course Javadi is looking to beat the total that Kinish Rostami hit at the World Championships, because only one athlete per country can be in an Olympic position. And right now, that's Rostami with 380 kilos from Bogota. It seems very unlikely that, in fact it seems impossible that Javadi can catch that, because his snatch is just too far down. 206 now will be the final attempt for Yu Dongzhu. This will put him at 367 kilos. This lift moves him from outside the rankings for the Olympics to inside. Puts him into the top 10 finally. It's a good clean. Oh, he just can't hold on, so Yudongju misses a 206, but he still had a pretty decent day here today. He walks away 161, 201, a 362 total, and I think you'll all be excited to see the scoreboard. If you look at Lee Dai-in, he's opting for, right now it says 216. What does 216 mean? 216 means a 396 kilo total, which means a world record. You know, and it might be that Tian Tao is realizing that he doesn't actually necessarily have to be the #1 ranked in the world to go to the Olympics, because China's going to send a 61, a 73. It's not like they can send a 102 or a super, so they're going to have to send an 89 ultimately. And so he just needs to be the #1 ranked Chinese 89, most likely, rather than trying to necessarily beat Carlos. But he's going to go for it on his second attempt, I think. We'll see how Tian makes that 210 look on his opener, though. Here's 206, 6 kilo personal best for El Khanjari. And again, he's making these cleans very powerfully, but not enough drive there. Left elbow didn't lock out. So opening attempt now, I think, is what we're going to see. I mean, we have got some absolutely insane lifts written on the board here. We have a 216, a 217 for Javadi. I'm not sure he has any business going for 216 in all honesty. Tian Tao, 210. Keenan Shastami, just in that very moment, dropped down from 215 to 207. So a 21 kilo jump from opening attempt to second attempt for Kianush. This is, I mean, this is something you really don't see every day. You don't see every quad. You may never have really even seen this in an international competition before, a jump of this size. And he walks out looking ever so stoic, as though he's operating on a level above and beyond where we are all operating. He made 220 kilos as an 85 kilo lifter. He was the world record holder there. That was in 2016. And then he made 225 kilos as a 96 kilo lifter. So it's not like this isn't a weight that he can make. And he may well make this. Oh. You know, he pulled it with some good speed. But, you know, just halts, doesn't even attempt to pull under. You know, he may well be injured. He looked like he got hurt after that opening snatch at 165 kilos. And then never really recovered from that. Dropped his opening clean and jerk down 20 kilos from what we thought it would be. Barely made that, to be honest. I think he got a little bit lucky on the elbow. Jumps up 21 kilos. Doesn't get under it. So he has 207 written in still. Is he going to... I mean, I almost wouldn't be shocked if he just says screw it and he asks for 218 just to have that final attempt. It probably wouldn't be the final, but... And then he might scratch, or he'll Clark it again like that. Or maybe he'll just come back out with this 207. We'll see. But Tian Tao will probably be the athlete out after that for his massive opener of 210 kilos. Which I think, and if anyone can correct me, please do, but I believe 210 kilos would be the heaviest opening attempt from any 89 kilo lifter ever, which bodes very well. Now, Kinush is coming out for this. He's looking somber. This man is not looking like somebody who's aggressively feeling like they're going to make this lift. I mean, he never has a huge amount of arousal when he walks out on a platform. But this perhaps takes it to a new level. You know, he's already in the top 10. He's already pretty much guaranteed his Olympic spot. Wow. Is he going to get up with it? Just about, surely. Kianush, you're not going to put this overhead. Oh my word, he almost had it as well for a second. Kianush Rostami,
판정 결과
a
실패.
phenomenal attempt there at 207 kilos, but he can't make it. And so he's going to end up with a 351 kilo total, 29 kilos down on what he made at the World Championships, which is a shame. Okay, so 6 attempts remain, all of them at 210 plus. Tian Tao, the first athlete out, he has 3 attempts. He made 200 kilos in the training hall look very comfortable. His world record in the heavier 96 kilo category is 231 kilos. The last time he opened up with 210 kilos was at the Asian Championships, and he missed. In fact, he's opened at 210 kilos 3 times in his career, and he's never made it. But this is a man who misses as much as he makes, so we'll see. Very strong clean. Oh my word. Okay, I think that Tian Tao may indeed be in a position to go for a world record here, surely, because that was the most comfortable looking 210 I think we've ever seen from him. And before this competition, when I'd last worked it out throughout his entire career, he had just moved below the 50% make to miss ratio. He'd missed more lifts in competition than made, and right now at this competition he's 2 makes, 2 misses, so he's still hovering below. You just never know what's going to happen with Tian Tao, but that 210 was spectacular. I think 222 is, you know, it's certainly on the cards for him in the clean and jerk, and I think that Lee Dae-in has it potentially to go for 216 and make that for a world record total as well. I think it's becoming increasingly possible that we see Carlos Nassar wiped from the world record books in this category. This is massive, 211 for Javadi. 7 kilo personal best. He's looking for a medal in the clean and jerk here. Wow. Surely not. Unbelievable. He almost had it. But based on that second attempt at 205, Javadi does have a bronze medal in the clean and jerk already, and he's guaranteed that. It may well end up being quite a way behind the silver medal, but it doesn't matter. Javadi with the 205 on his second attempt misses 211, so 364 in the total for him. 4 attempts remain. This next attempt, 216 kilos, is going to be for the world record in the total. This will be 396 kilos to wipe Nassar's clean and jerk, wipe Nassar's total world record. This would also be a 10 kilo personal best in the clean and jerk for him in competition. I think we've seen him hip clean in training 215 kilos. We've never seen him clean in any variation as much as this right now. Absolutely monumental lift. We knew that there would be a great battle in this category. We thought there might be world records. I don't think anyone really predicted a total world record by Lee Dai-in, though, and it may well just be about to happen. It's a huge pull. Can he hold it? He can't. He can't hold it. So Lee Dai-in is going to have to take that again, I think. And, you know, there's not a whole lot more he can do to make that look any better. He pulled that with everything he had. He snuck under it in the clean. Got up with that with decent speed. But then just didn't have the power in the jerk. You know, he can't get as low as Tian Tao can in the jerk. He's definitely just a power jerk. Tian Tao can certainly ride it down into more of a squat position. And Tian Tao has put in for a world record in the clean and jerk at 222 kilos, which not only would give him a world record clean and jerk, but it would give him a world record. No, it would give him the gold. It would give him the gold medal at the Asian Championships if Lee Dai-in misses this, and it would be a world record. This would just be, you know, a comeback that we really, truly don't deserve to be seeing as weightlifting fans. And it would be the most perfectly Tian Tao way to return to competition, to only make 165 kilos and then get a world record in the clean and jerk. But Lee Dai-in is going to struggle because he's not got long to rest. 2-minute clock. He's already down now to 1 minute, and that's all he's got. So he'll be back out on the platform in the next few seconds to have a shot at this. Absolutely massive. I mean, we have seen him miss and then make, because at the 2019 World Championships, I believe it was 206, he missed it on his second attempt, having made 198. Then he came back out within 2 minutes and made it. And he got a world record total there at 377 kilos. So this is not totally unknown territory for Lee Dai-in. Here he comes now. 216, this for a world record in the total. "15 seconds. It's a huge pull, and again he's up with it. Looked just like his last attempt. Can he hold it? Oh my word, Lee Dai-in, unbelievable. A new world record in the total, and one of the heaviest clean and jerks that we have seen in this category. I don't think anybody really expected this to happen today. We all knew there'd be a great battle between the two Chinese athletes. We thought Rostami might be in there. But to see Lee Dai-in snatch a world record 180 and then hit a 216, that's the third heaviest clean and jerk we've ever seen in this category, is just unbelievable. Nassar made 21 and 20. And then, of course, Antonino Pizzatos made 217. But that is absolutely astronomical. And we have 2 attempts remaining. The next attempt is going to be a world record clean and jerk attempt now from Tian Tao. What a moment in world weightlifting. We really are witnessing history here. Now, this would not give Tian Tao the lead. Lee Dai-in is still too far ahead here, but after years of being out of international competition in peak shape, are we about to see a world record from the return of Tian Tao? 222 kilos. It's unbelievably easy. He's got one more attempt to do it. Can he pull a Lee Dai-in and come back from a world record miss for a world record make? Is it going to be bye-bye Carlos Nassar today? Or is his reign, at least in the clean and jerk, going to remain? I mean, this is just such an exciting session. 180 we saw in the snatch, 216 in the clean and jerk. 396 kilos from Lee Dai-in. I mean, prior to this competition, the most we'd seen from him was 377 kilos. So he's up 19 there in the total from this gain in body weight. It was definitely the right thing for him to do. And so Tian Tao now taking a bit of a break. He's got 1:39 on the clock. He will just stick with this weight. And then, of course, it's, you know, when we're seeing Li Dayan with such a big total, and Tian Tao might end up way down from him, but what we're seeing is that there is a version of Tian Tao that can beat Li Dayan, because Tian had a really poor day in the snatch, but we all know that he can make that 172 that he missed twice. And if he makes that, and we know that he can be cleaning in the high teens, clean and jerking in the high teens, maybe into the 20s, we may see here. There is a world in which either at the World Championships or the World Cup or Asian Championships next year, Tian Tao could again move ahead. But he's not going to try to move ahead in the total now. He's going to try and get a world record at 222 kilos, his second attempt at this weight. A weight that he's surpassed just twice in his competition history. It's a strong clean again, maybe a little bit tougher. Oh my word, I think he's going to do it. He is going to do it. Tian Tao wipes Carlos Nassar off the record books. It's an absolutely incredible lift. Surely nobody expected that. We knew it would be a great session, but all new world records, that is something that I don't think anyone really predicted. 180 in the snatch, Li Dayan, 222 in the clean and jerk, Tian Tao, and then a 396 kilo total by Li Dayan again. Just absolutely incredible. And what a way to come back for Tian Tao. He had a tough start in the snatch with those two misses. And imagine being him. You know, he was the world champion in 2019 and his country did not select him for the Olympic Games. It forced him to retire. He said, give me one more shot, and he comes out and sets a world record clean and jerk at 222 kilos. This man's career is not over. Tian Tao still has a lot more to give, and he takes a silver medal in this competition, 165, 222. The bronze is going to go to Mustafa Javadi from Iran, 159, 205. He took a great shot at 211, but wasn't able to make it. But the gold medal, I mean, truly spectacular, truly unbelievable, goes to Li Dayan, 180 kilos in the snatch, 216 kilos in the clean and jerk. And tomorrow we get to see the other Chinese 89 who's weighing in a little bit heavy in the 96s, Liu Huanhua, who's going to be competing again. And rumor has it he set an unofficial world record in the clean and jerk in a national competition too. So we'll see what sort of shape he's in, because of course at some point he'll be cutting back down to 89 to compete once more. Absolutely incredible stuff here from the Asian Championships, all new world records. One of the most exciting sessions we've seen in a long time. And Carlos Nassar, who just sort of crowned himself as the king of the 89s, is removed from the history books, unfortunately, in this category. We're going to keep this live stream going for the next few minutes so that you can watch the medal ceremony. But from me and Weightlifting House, that's going to be it for now. Of course, we'll be back in an hour's time. We have the women's 76 kilo session. I'm afraid there's not going to be commentary on that one because I need to go and fix my car, which just broke down. So I've got to go and do that. But the live stream will still be there. So make sure you don't miss it. Thanks for tuning in. We'll see you for the next session. Just jumping back on really quickly to say, if you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe. Appreciate it.